Lauri Markkanen and the Utah Jazz. By the way, the host of this year's All-Star game got Kyrie Irving, who will be an All-Star, and the Brooklyn Nets in town. Remember, still no Kevin Durant. But boy, did you get a healthy dose of Kyrie Irving in this one. He knocks down the three. How about former Jazz Royce O'Neal returning to Utah, knocking down the trifecta? I got news for you, Royce. I don't think they miss you that much in Salt Lake City. They got a new guy in the mix. His name is Lauri Markkanen, and he's about to be an all-star really soon. Jordan Clarkson with the grown man deuce. Tight game here. It's Irving spinning on that baseline in a second. The biggest compliment I can give you about Kyrie Irving is you never see him do the same move twice in a basketball game. That's the best compliment I got. He is so great. Markkanen on the other end, his trifecta right before the half puts Utah out in front. Third quarter, Ben Simmons trying to rip Clarkson. He fails, and Clarkson makes Ben pay for it. Clarkson had 29 points. This highlight, though, is about to be hijacked by Kyrie Irving, who had himself a fourth quarter. I mean, just knocking down threes from literally everywhere on the basketball court. Irving, 21 fourth quarter points. He puts the Nets up by 7. It's a 6-point game, 5:22 to go. How about Clarkson trying to withstand the greatness of Irving? And then Markkanen lines it up and knocks it down. He had 22. It's a 2-point game when Clarkson decides to use his left to tie this affair up at 102. But when it's winning time, the difference in this basketball game was one team had Kyrie Irving, the other did not. Irving icing Utah with threes after three. That three-pointer about the same spot he won a championship for Cleveland with. It's 48 points, a season high for Kyrie. It's the Brooklyn Nets getting the 11-point win, snapping their 4-game losing streak. I got a question for you guys out there. If you are the Brooklyn Nets, with the season that Kyrie Irving has had, let's say since he's came back from the suspension over the tweet about the Jewish community or the repost or whatever you want to call it, the Amazon link. If you're Brooklyn, Kyrie's been balling. Now, clear as day, you see that he can't be your number one, but he was for sure holding down the fort as a very nice number 2 to Kevin Durant when he was healthy and this Nets team was balling. What do you do? Do you pay him? Do you believe Brooklyn should pay Kyrie Irving? Has he deserved a long-term contract? Would you try to give him a short-term contract? If you're Kyrie Irving, do you take a short-term deal right now? He might have leveraged himself into a couple of teams being interested in him. Now, it might not be great teams. It might not be cities that he want to play in, but it would be nice to see Kyrie Irving. Let's just throw a team out there, the Houston Rockets. I'm just throwing a team out there. If the Houston Rockets, who I believe had interest in Kyrie a couple years ago, if they were willing to give him a max contract right now, he doesn't necessarily make you a better team. He just sells tickets, right? If you get Kyrie Irving right now and you say, "Oh, yo, we got a max deal for you for 5 years," right? But the Brooklyn Nets are willing to offer Kyrie a one in a team option on the second year, which would be a very interesting deal if that was offered to Kyrie to see if he would take it or not. What do you do if you're Irving? You probably like playing in Brooklyn. You got ties to that New York community. Do you leave do you leave and go to Houston, in a city that you maybe don't want to play in? We know Kyrie ain't playing basketball for 6 more years. This is probably a 3 to 4 year window for Irving. I don't think he's playing ball later in his 30s, and that doesn't fit him. I don't believe that one bit. So this is about a 2 to 3 year window with Kyrie Irving potentially. What do you do if you're the Brooklyn Nets? You can't just forget what has happened in the Kyrie Irving era. Every year there's something, but right now he's balling. And let's just say nothing else happens. Let's say the Nets get to the conference finals. I'll even throw out a great scenario. Let's say they get to the conference finals and lose to the Celtics in 6. Do you bring Irving back? What do you do? What if they get swept? Do you bring Irving back? Do you let him walk? Does that mean Kevin Durant will then opt out, or demand a trade again? This is a very interesting one. This one is going to be talked about all offseason. Kyrie Irving is a free man in a few months. and he's been balling this year. Will there be a market for him or not? That is the question.